the 22 Magnum, 22 TCM, and 5.7 by 28. Let's check it out. 22 Magnum, it's been around since 1959. It's a rimfire caliber. It really ups the game when it comes to rimfire as far as 22 long rifle. It has a lot more velocity. We're looking right here at a 40 grain bullet, but it has a number of different type loads. Been used for years for hunting especially. More and more people are using this for self-defense, and when the PMR 30 came out and then the Walther WMP in 22 Magnum, this is going to gain some traction. Then we have the 22 TCM by Rock Island Armory. This is originally called the 22 Micro Mag, and it's traveling at over around 2,000 feet per second. These are just phenomenal rounds. They're really going fast. 40 grain bullet as well, and it's in the 1911 platform. But this is one of my favorite calibers to shoot, but it's a really small bullet going super fast. Then we have the 5.7 by 28. This is a NATO round that's been adopted. It goes in the FN P90 as a rifle, and then the 5.7 is a pistol. And for years, we didn't see much. CMMG did an AR-15 in 5.7, and there were a few others. But not until just recently, when Ruger came out with their 5.7, Palmetto State Armory, then Smith & Wesson. And it's really upped the game for 5.7. Again, this is used in combat in over 40 countries, and so it does have a pedigree. But it's really cool to see it now hitting the civilian market really heavily here in the US. So guys, we're going to take these really small diameter, lightweight, really 40 grain across the board. We're going to test these out, 22 Magnum, 22 TCM, 5.7 by 28. And we're going to go through and chronograph it. We're going to shoot it through some Clear Ballistics gelatin. We're going to shoot them side by side. And we're just going to get a feel for the differences between these three calibers. CCI, Armscor, and Fiocchi supplied the ammunition. All right, for the test samples, we're going to use the new Smith & Wesson M&P 5.7, the Walther WMP, and then the 1911 Rock Island Armory 22 TCM. We have the CCI Maxi Mags, and these are 40 grain, jacketed hollow point. Then we have the Fiocchi 5.7 by 28. This is also 40 grain, and it's a tipped hollow point. And then we have the Armscor 22 TCM 40 grain. It says jacketed hollow point, but it has a soft tip. So all three are 40 grain. We're going to see how they perform. Guys, it's just kind of funny that we've been battling the Micro 9s for a long time, and we're just getting less and less as far as bullet weights. Upping the velocity and a really light bullet going really fast. The 22 Magnum, very easy to shoot, very low recoil, very good mag capacity, and it's very reliable. I mean, we've had some really good results with the WMP, but also we had good results with the PMR 30. But out of all the three, the 22 Magnum in the WMP was the softest shooting. Then it comes to the 22 TCM, which originally was called the 22 Micro Mag. Martin Twasson owns Rock Island Armory and Fred Craig collaboration. Fred Craig is just a genius when it comes to coming up with really cool calibers and production, and he really put Rock Island Armory on the map as far as their production and the quality of their guns. But with the 22 TCM, I love shooting this round. It is so soft to shoot, but it has that big fireball that comes right out of the barrel, and it's just crazy. Plus, I mean, the power behind it's something else. But I did find that the recoil was actually the most out of the 22 TCM, and that's considering we had a steel frame with this little 1911, and you're limited to 1911. They did make the MAP, which was a CZ polymer clone, but they've discontinued it. But this is just one of my favorite calibers. I love it. But then we have the 5.7, which is making a huge comeback. Again, starting out with the P90, and now a number of gun companies, including Palmetto State Armory, Ruger, and now Smith & Wesson have come out with 5.7 by 28 rounds. Really soft to shoot again, but you're getting a lot of ballistics, and it's a NATO round. One of the things about these pistols typically is they shoot higher grain bullets better, the 40 grain and above, and that makes them more reliable. But you know, one of the problems with 5.7 has been the ammunition cost, but that is coming down, so it's great to see it. But a lot of fun to shoot. I would say this comes in the middle. But let's take a look at the ballistics. Now we have a couple of Clear Ballistics Gel blocks. These things are awesome to test your ammo, and we appreciate Clear Gel for sending these for this review. We used 2 blocks because the last time 22 Magnum went through the single block. And so we just wanted to leave this, and it's a little bit discolored, but it's just because I've had it in storage for a while. We're going to also use our chronograph, and this is the Chrono Pro, and we're just going to test the velocity. .22 Magnum came all the way out to about 14 inches. We'll look at it, but pretty decent shot. It did not go through both blocks. We can see the 22 TCM came all the way through and about 4 inches into the second block. .57 came all the way through to the end, and I think it hit the lip right here. I had this set up before, but it fell down, and I think it stopped it. So we're going to fire one more round of 5.7 just to test it out. Looks like the second 5.7 came through and it stopped at about 13 inches, but we're going to cut this out and take a look. Now I just measured this gel block, they're 15 inches, and we have the 22 Magnum, it went 13 inches. The first round of the 22 TCM went all the way through to 18.5 inches. That's pretty impressive. The first 5.7 is lodged in the bottom corner. I think it hit the barrel, I'm not positive, but it actually is kind of sticking out just a little bit. But then we have the second 5.7 round is at 12.5 inches. And so there was definitely a difference between these two rounds. I'm not really sure what's going on. One thing that we do see is that there's a lot of expansion in the gel block coming down with the 5.7 until it hits right here and all throughout. There's quite a bit of expansion with the 22 TCM starting out at the back. And then, of course, it just went on through and there's little deformation all the way to the end. 22 Magnum, about 3 inches in, it had a pretty good little expansion, and then it just kind of broke apart. You can see pieces of it all the way through. So as far as penetration, the 22 TCM wins, but as far as expansion, the 5.7 had a little more in the gel block. The 22 Magnum, we can see expansion was not all that great, but we do see that we had some debris that was left coming through. With the 22 TCM, you know, there is some expansion at the end, but it's not a lot. In fact, it's very little, but it did go the farthest in the gel block. And then we have the 5.7 by 28. It was pretty impressive, the expansion, and so that definitely accounts for a lot. And then we had the one that hit the bottom corner, and you can see it definitely deflected. It was really surprising that this went about 3 inches farther than the second shot. Now I tried to weigh these out. My scale doesn't get down that low. It was coming out about 0.2 ounces, but it was erratic. As far as accuracy goes, they're all very comparable. They're very accurate. For each of the reviews we've done in these calibers, we show accuracy. But really, they're just very close. 22 Magnum, 24 cents per round. 22 TCM, 33 cents per round. 5.7 by 28, 56.5 cents per round. That's come down from $1 a round, so we're seeing this drop. 9mm, about 20 cents a round for brass-cased quality ammunition. You can get steel-cased or even remanufactured ammunition for less. So guys, the biggest takeaway from these calibers is it gives those who are recoil sensitive or have weaker hand strength to have something effective for self-defense. And it keeps them really confident when they're at the range, and also if they ever have to use this in any kind of self-defense situation. It's just very easy to shoot. Or guys, if you want something that's lightweight, that's low recoil, and you can get your shots quicker and just have more control over the handgun, these also make a great option. There's some differences between these three, but all three are small bullets going really fast, and they all have low recoil. There's becoming more and more options out on the market. Of course, obviously the three that we shot are just a sampling. There are others, and there'll be more to come. And so it's really great to see a lot of different options. And as I've been saying for years, we live in the golden age of firearms, and it just keeps getting more gold. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. You know, that's one of the things. He's almost like John Browning of the modern age. I mean, the guy. But it has that big fireball that they did make an AM to others that are added onto this. So guys.